Hello and welcome again to the KenOhwee Channel, where we talk about toys, cards, games, everything fun, everything that I love and I'm passionate about. So today we'll be doing a video comparison of all the movie version of the armored Batman figures. So as much as I would love to, I can't really include this cute little guy because he's not really an action figure. Are you discriminating against short people? Oh yeah. So check out the stop motion video of this little guy. So I fully featured him in there and I hope you guys enjoy it. But this video is just going to compare regarding the design, price, articulation and accessories, and then you guys can decide for yourself which one of these three figures that you want to collect. And you want to collect them all, then by all means go. I hope this video will help you out a little bit. So without further ado, let's talk about these three figures. So first off, in terms of scale comparison, these two figures are of course the 6-inch figures. So these two stands roughly about the same, and this one being the 7-inch is slightly taller. Well, 1 inch taller than the rest. If you want this Batman to stand next to your other figures that you've been collecting so far, I don't think it's gonna work out really well. So this Batman is just gonna tower above all the other figures, unless you have other 7-inch figures. So yeah, so this is just pretty much putting Mafex Batman next to the DC Films Armored Batman. This is pretty much a scale comparison, so it's a lot taller than the Mafex Batman one. So if you have the DC Icons, it's gonna dwarf the DC Icons Batman. Do not put him anywhere near the 7-inch figures. So yeah, in terms of the design, so in the middle, the Mafex Batman one, as you can see, it looks much shinier, much brighter, and on the side you have the DC Multiverse one. So of course, it's being the cheaper one in the line, you have less paint application. It's still okay, you know, I won't give it like a fail or anything like that, but it's still okay. And then looking at the DC film figure, it's a lot darker, it's still shinier, but it's not as shiny as the Mafex ones. And in terms of the texture and everything, as of course the DC Multiverse does not have any of the texture lines of the Batman suit underneath the armor, whereas the Mafex one has the most texture felt. You know, I've not been feeling these figures too much. I have not! And apart from that, the cape. Yeah, so we have two soft material, which is the jeans looking like cape material for the Mafex Batman, the slightly hard plastic for the DC Multiverse, and you have the black, sort of like a solid cloth like cape for DC Films Batman. If you guys can visualize this cape on this Mafex Batman one, this Mafex Batman would have looked amazing. I'm not really liking this fabric. Some people love it, some people don't mind it, you know, and some people don't like it. But you know, I'm not hating it to the point so I gotta cut this off and put it myself, so it's fine, it's just there. So that's pretty much the design comparison between these three. So for the DC Multiverse one, the scratches are more blended in with the armor and also the paint application, so you can't really see it that clearly. And also the same goes for the DC film one. There's still scratches there, but not a lot of scratches, you know. I would say the DC Films is has the least amount of scratches. It's the cleanest looking figure compared to the other two. The Mafex one looked like it really went to war. The Multiverse still went to war, but you know, but the DC Films was just on the side watching the war or something. Moving forward to the articulation portion, it has like single joint elbows or knees, and although it can do the split and stuff, it can't really do the ab crunch for no particular reason. Basically, in terms of the articulation, this guy lacks in that department, so of course being the cheaper one in the line. So moving to the Mafex Batman one, it was filled with articulation. However, because of the design problem, it limits the arm from going a full 360, and also the fact that I have to say that although it has toe articulation, currently that is the only thing that is crippling the Mafex Armored Batman. It really can't stand. Without the stand, it can't stand, ironically. Now moving to the DC Films articulation, it's still an awesome amount of articulation, a lot of movement still going on, you know. That's not to say that DC Film fails in that department. No, it does not. Now, because the shoulder pad for the DC Film one is pegged into the arm itself, it can do a 360, so that's really nice. So the only thing that is lacking from the DC Films Armored Batman one is the fact that it does not have ab crunch and it does not have toe articulation, and also the waist doesn't really go side to side. It does just really slightly, but not a lot. I wish it could do more, but overall, you know, because the fact that, like I said in my previous video, the DC Films one, they sacrifice the inclusion of an ab crunch to put in the on-off switch battery for the light up feature. So that is a plus for this figure because the other two does not have this feature. And also because of the lack of toe articulation, it does give the figure more stability. You know, as you can see, I do not need a stand to make this figure stand as opposed to Mafex Batman one. Yeah, and also looking at the armor design, there's a lot more scratches on the Mafex Batman as compared to the other two. The Mafex one is messing with Catwoman a little bit more than the other two. So in terms of articulation, you know, if this guy can somehow have the on-off switch and also have the ab crunch, this figure would have been perfect. If they can do some sort of like a fusion together, it would have made the perfect armored Batman figure. So come on, if the cape was, you know, was on this and the ab crunch was on this and the light up feature was on this, you know, perfect armored Batman figure. I'm telling you, perfect. If I had to say who has more articulation, I would give it to Mafex Batman. But more doesn't necessarily mean better. If you have enough articulation to do all these action poses, like what the DC film has, it's enough. You know, you don't need. I really want ab crunches, so you know you can bend and stuff, and you gotta do the splits. You gotta have the thigh swivel a little bit, so you can do the crouching and you can do the kneeling and all the high kicks and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what the DC films have enough to do all the action poses, which is great. But the Mafex Batman wins in the articulation portion in terms of having more joints that you can move. So moving on to the accessories portion, as you can see, even the three guns are different. Batman, make up your mind! Largest one, you have the DC Multiverse smoke gun. If you want sort of like a solid hard finish, a matte finish, the Mafex smoke gun. And if you want something that is shinier but slightly smaller, it is the DC film one. In the DC Multiverse smoke gun, you have the China sign at the back. So, and the Mafex one, you also have the China sign at the back, but you don't have the China sign in the smaller smoke gun. But it is really small, so I would say it's just a tie, but nothing is great. You know, I wish they make the perfect smoke gun as well. So until that comes, right now this 3 is just a tie. It has its own design flaw in certain way. But in terms of the interchangeable hand accessory, the DC Multiverse, of course, it does not come with interchangeable hands, but it does come with a part for the click and connect, for the grappling hook, I believe. And for the Mafex and the DC Films one, you have 2 extra pair of hands. Now, it's the same for the both figures. Both have a trigger kind of finger hand, and also they both have an open hand hand. And both of their trigger hands does not hold the weapon well at all. So, you know, Batman really does not like to hold the smoke gun. I don't know what's happening there. It's like some kind of thing. It's like I don't know how to design an action figure where Batman holds a smoke gun. That's just no way possible. It's just we can't do it. So in terms of the accessory, I would have to give it a tie for the DC films and the Mafex one. So sorry, Multiverse, you need to have more interchangeable hands. And also, I have to point out both the Mafex and the DC film ones come with a stand for you to you know, make a figure stand. So, and the of course the being the bigger one, the DC films has a slightly larger stand than the Mafex one. So coming to the price point now. The cheapest, of course, having the least amount of accessories and the least amount of articulation, and also the subpar presentation, paint application, and sculpt is the Multiverse one. No offense, but yeah, of course, it's been the cheapest one. And for the Mafex and also the DC film ones, their price is pretty much similar depending on where you get. So in summary, I apologize for the long comparison video. I really hope this video helped you guys in some way. So as an overall package, here's what it is. So it's definitely a tie between the DC films and the Mafex Armored Batman because both of them come with the same amount of accessories. Both of them has pros in terms of the articulation department and also cons in terms of the articulation department. Both come with really great sculpt and presentation. It's just a matter of which one you like better in terms of how it looks. And also the only plus points that among these 3 figures that the DC film comes with the light up feature. So yeah, when it comes down to it, based on my humble opinion, I really like the DC Films Batman one because it fits what I want or what I'm looking for in an armored Batman figure in terms of the design, the presentation, the sculpt, the build, the articulation. It has a great amount of articulation, not as much as the Mafex one, but it is enough for me to pose it in a lot of great action poses. But it's not to say I hate the other two. I really like all these figures. It's armored Batman, so you're not gonna go wrong with any of these three figures. If you're a fan of armored Batman, you're gonna enjoy any of these figures. To have one of these Batmans in your collection, it's really awesome in itself already. I hope this video helps illustrate the difference and the comparison between these three figures, and for whoever's deciding or don't really know what's the difference between these three figures or which one to get. And I apologize if this video is too long and I realize I talk a lot. I'll cut that short, hopefully. So I hope this video really helped you guys, and yeah, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. See you guys. Have a great week. Click here to enjoy more videos.